in progress. The Yipokim, a Pikudim, and overall Pikudim. So we have the level that it's overall Pikudim, even though it's Kisisa Rosh, even though we're talking about such a high level of Bittel, that he raises up the head, and it's such a way that he feels that it's Machzis, that his level of Avaviyira is complemented by the Avaviyira that comes from above. Through his Eser Geda, through his Ten Koiches Nefesh, he's getting from above the Eser Koiches, or the level of Avaviyira from above, to such a degree that this is now whatever level he was at before is considered now something lacking, and that's what the Lachaper al Nafshesechem is. That Lachaper al Nafshesechem and Koifer Nefesh is not talking about in a level of a regular sin chas v'sholem, but it's talking about because it was kisisas roish. That we asked earlier, how could it be kisisas roish and need to have a kapara? But that itself makes me feel that I am lacking and deficient, because the higher a person is, the more he feels deficient, like someone standing in front of the king. It's even a minor thing is a lot worse, and it's considered like a rebellion than someone that's far away from the king. And that itself, that bittul itself, and that state of feeling lacking brings about that whatever is lacking should be filled in, just like it says by David HaMelech when they were talking about his seat being empty. So it says, "V'nifkadeta ki pocket moshevecha," that you will be remembered because your seat will be empty. This is the same word, the same shoyrish, nifkadata ki pocket moshevecha, but what it is that the remembrance shows on a positive thing. The emptiness is a negative. So specifically, the feeling of lacking, the feeling of bittul, brings about the level of nifkadata, just like Reb Shimon ben Yochai, that he said on Nasimona Ba'alma, and this the Rebbe says, is shaykh by every person. Up till now, we were explaining Oiver al Pikudim in a way of still, even in a subtle way, in a way of negative. Pikudim, that he is either lacking, or Oiver al Pikudim, he is transgressing Pikudei de Orais, he is transgressing the command of the Torah. Now the Rebbe in Ois Daled is going to add another deeper meaning in Oiver al Pikudim Lemal Yusa. So again, the bottom of page Ches, line 22, Ois Daled. We can add to this even more in depth, that explanation of the one that crosses over the pikudim, who lemal yusa, is a positive thing. Not that he crosses over, that he transgresses from the word aveda in a negative sense, but he's crossing, he's beyond the level of Torah and mitzvahs. In other words, similar to what it says, Be'ever hanor Yoshua v'seichem, Chassidus explains, nor goes on bina, Ever hanor goes on even higher than Seder Ishtalshus. Ki yadua be'inyan Yisrael, top of page test, Nikroim Chosen, Vator Nikras Kalom, that the Yidden are called a groom and the Torah is called the bride. That means that Yidden are the ones that are mashpia in Torah, that Yidden are essentially higher than Torah. Where do we see this marriage between Yidden and the Torah? Like it says, Torah Tzivulanu Moshe Meirasha Torah, that Moshe commanded us, is an inheritance. So the Chazal say, Al Tikre Meirasha Elama Oirasa. Do not read it an inheritance, but it means from betrothed, married. Yisrael Mashpim Mamshichim Meirasaf, but Torah, that Yidden bring down the infinite light of Hashem, and they influence and they are mashpia, the infinite light of Hashem in Torah. That's why they are a chosen, and the Torah is the receiver, the kal. That's also the idea of making a bracha on the Torah before learning Torah. The idea of bracha is the idea of hamshacha. So Yidden making a bracha on the Torah means that Yidden draw down hamshacha, and they are the chosen to the Torah being the kal. Like David HaMelech, that was joining the Torah above with Hashem. So again, we find this idea that David was higher than Torah. David gave to Torah something that Torah did not have, kaviyachol on its own. Nasa inyan the nesinas haTorah mechadosh, through the idea that the Yidden are mashpiyan Torah, that causes the giving of the Torah anew. This is similar, most probably, to what we were having last week's Maimer about that there is the every single day Chol Yom Yu Benach Chadashim. That's why it says by Yom Hazeh Bo Midbar Sinai, because every single day it needs to be considered as if the Torah was given today, because the Torah study that a Yid does is a higher level of the hashpah, or the higher level of the Torah being new than just the everlasting nature of Hashem's saying the Torah, which Hashem saying the Torah is also everlasting, but a Yid, it brings a greater chidush through his seeing the Torah as new and being mashpia Torah new. And up until we reach an even higher level to the Torah Chadash, or the loss of love, until we reach to the new Torah of Mashiach's times, that this is all caused, that the level of Torah Chadash and Mititated, it'll happen when Mashiach comes, is all a result of what we do now, the idea that we are being mashpia in Torah. Therefore, this idea that there is a Torah Chadasha is expressed in the fact that even those that study the entire Torah, like in different Mamarim, he says, even the others and Moshe Rabbeinu that were in Gan Eden already thousands of years learning Torah, they will all be learning from Mashiach Torah. How come? Because the Torah of Mashiach will be completely a new level beyond everything that they have learned before. And this is all a result of what we are doing now in being mamshech and drawing down, being the chasn to the Torah, being the kala, drawing down a new light. So that's what it means. That means that it's over ala pikudim. It's beyond the level of Torah. That's the idea of the machzah shekel, etc. He reaches to the highest, most levels. Now the Rebbe adds another point, that the two meanings in over al pikudim, the over al pikudim that we just now said, that it's going higher than Seder Ishtalshlus, and over al pikudim, that it's the level of the one that transgresses the mitzvahs of the Torah that we spoke about before, are interconnected. He says in line 10, Va'oidza is an additional she'ini doiver al pikudim mal yusuf l'maylo pikudim ayraisa, the idea that he crosses over, and he's beyond the mitzvahs, he's beyond Torah in the positive that we just now spoke about, higher than the pikudim of the Torah. Poil gamal misha nimtza maimedu matzav hachi yor shoiv al pikudim ayraisa. It also influences and affects that someone that's in the lowest state, that transgresses the mitzvahs of the Torah. Like we said, it becomes the repair of it, becomes the atonement through reaching up that higher level that also affects someone that's on a lower level. Final paragraph, line 15. In a similar vein, we could say that the idea of pikudim is going on numbers. Overall, pikudim is not just that he's higher than Torah, but higher than numbers. The Chazal said, Moshe Rabbeinu had difficulty with the idea of the machzah shekel. There was three things that Hashem had to show Moshe Rabbeinu. He had to show him the menorah, he had to show him the Moiled Halavona, and he had the difficulty with the machzah shekel, and Hashem took out a fiery shekel coin from under his throne. What was the difficulty? So there's different explanations. The Ramaz, that's a commentary on the Zohar, explains the Masha Niskasha and Moshe, that what Moshe had difficulty with is loy mitzad chisorin shebeinyan hamispar. It's not because of the lack and deficiency and the minor idea of numbers and counting, Yisrael Shorshem Ulamayla Misper Vacheshbon. Yidden's source and Yidden's root is beyond number and beyond calculation. How can they arise to a number and being calculation and be counted? So that's the meaning of overall Pikudim, Valpizi Yeshleimer, based on this Ramaz, that this was the difficulty of Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, we could explain Befirish Kol overall Pikudim. What's it mean? All those who pass over the number, She Yisrael and Lamayla Min Mispor, that the Yidden are higher in the idea of number and count. It says